Salutations, humanoids! This is the first video on my mate channel. So, since I have been drinking mate for a while now, I thought of sharing my opinion and experiences with drinking mate, how I prepare it, what I think about certain brands, and telling more about the history of certain brands as well. So since we are starting our channel, I thought of starting with Cruz de Malta, which is a very popular brand for beginners. If I'm not mistaken, it's at least what I recommend and what I've seen most people recommend for beginners. But this one is the Selección Especial. So it's basically a special selection, probably a more premium variety of Cruz de Malta. And it says right here, estacionamiento natural, which means the leaves are not dried, aged by a machine in hot air, and sometimes having even that barbacoa effect, which is mostly like smokiness and stuff. It is just left there to sit and age naturally just by the air around it and just sitting there, just normally. Also says right here, hojas más grandes, which is basically in comparison to the normal Cruz de Malta, it has bigger leaves. That is just it. So, while we analyze the package first, and I tell you more about the history of Cruz de Malta, I will put the water here to cool down a little bit so we can prepare our mate the traditional way. Now, the front of the packaging is pretty simple. It's basically the same design as Cruz de Malta original, but it is red and white outline of the leaves and not white with the red outline of the leaves. It also has this green square right here where it says special selection. So a more premium yerba mate. Right here, right at the top, it's backwards, but you can see it's the INIM seal, which is basically the National Institute of Yerba Mate in Argentina. So it says right here, desde 1874. So since 1874, which means this brand was founded in 1874, ironically by a Chilean company. So the Chilean company, which they do not specify which in their website, founded Cruz de Malta, so they would produce yerba mate, and this Chilean company would package it in different brands probably and sell it. So Cruz de Malta was not a brand really since 2006, where this company, which it says where exactly, it said right here. So at this side of the packaging, it says Molinos Rio de la Plata S.A. This company bought Cruz de Malta in 2006 and started selling it as a mate brand that we know today. So it says right here, where it's made, Industria Argentina, finally 100% since 2006. It's a fully Argentinian made mate, so grown in Argentina, aged in Argentina, packaged, yeah, but basically ground as well in Argentina, so it's 100% made in Argentina. This is a 500 grams package, even though I have drank it a little bit, I cannot lie. It says right here, yerba mate elaborada con palo. So it is mate with stems. It has sticks as well. It says right here, hojas más grandes with the asterisks, and right here it says, respecto Cruz de Malta tradicional anterior. So it's with the traditional, older, normal version of Cruz de Malta. This has bigger leaves compared to it, which is usually bigger leaves than what I at least saw in most Argentinian brands. So here it basically tells you how to prepare a mate, put basically 2/3 of the mate full of yerba, put cold water on the extremity that you made the mountain, wait for a little bit, put the bombilla, put hot water, and then drink it. And here it talks a little bit more about the mate itself. I haven't translated this. I am not really good with direct translation. But it basically tells you in like a written down way what it says right here. So, selección especial, estacionamiento natural y hojas más grandes. Just what we already know, and this is all the legal information. Probably here to put some stickers for different countries they might sell to. I know I imported this one, but this one doesn't have the import seal of Brazil. So this was not officially imported by someone. It was basically bought in Argentina as a personal item and then brought here to Brazil. Then you have Contacto Molinos and their website and email and phone number. Also saying the package is paper, so you know how to recycle it. So with that out of the way, let's mix it a little bit actually, because there's a lot of powder at the top of the package. There we go. This one, it looks a little bit like this. So you can see it has very, very big leaves. They are very yellow, a little bit greenish, but mostly yellow, with few stems. They don't have many stems in this yerba, although it says it has, it's not many. I'd say it's a percentage of like 70% leaves, 30% stems, maybe. There are some here that are very, very dark stems, for example, like this one, which I don't know how, but they are here. This is also some part of the branch, maybe a seed, I don't really know. But it's basically 70% leaves, 30% stems. So with that out of the way, let's put it in our gourd. I am using a small calabash gourd, which is very common in Argentina, especially the part where they prepare this type of mate. Doing as the package says, I put it halfway or 2/3 of the gourd of mate. Ooh, I tore it more. Oops, not supposed to do that. Ooh, it's so hot in here. I don't know why I'm drinking hot mate for the first episode, but we do things. Just sealed it right here. So this water I poured in the first part of the episode, so right at the beginning. It is way colder, although it is still hot. It is way colder. I can dip my finger in this one without it hurting. So this is what I usually use to prepare my mate. Some people in Argentina might say you burn the leaves. That is not true. But if you want basically a softer, a more mild start, the lower temperature you put a water, better your start will be basically. So if you want a really, really strong start, you can put it water basically directly from the thermos. And it's, if you're not doing it boiling water, if you have it 80 degrees or lower, for example, here I have 75 degrees Celsius, it is never going to burn the leaves and you're never gonna get a terrible taste out of it, honestly. The hotter you put it, the stronger the taste gets, usually, and you get different tastes as well. So for example, if you prepare a mate with 60 degrees Celsius or 85 degrees Celsius, even though it is the same mate from the same package and basically the same equipment, you will get a different taste because the temperature that the water sits in is better or worse at extracting certain nutrients and flavors from the leaves. So without further ado, I will pour the water and wait for a little bit. And while we wait for a little bit, I don't know why I closed it. I wanted to give you a smell check. So I'm not going to be smelling you. I will be smelling the mate. And as you can see, it has a lot of powder. I don't know if you guys could see it, but it has a bunch of powder, especially comparing to Argentinian mate. Ooh, there are some very, very big leaves inside here. Let's see, I caught one. Look at this. Look at the size of this thing. It's like I don't know, it's like my pinky nail, basically. Yeah, it's like my pinky nail. It's very big. So, for the smell, what do I get from the smell? It smells like mate. Wow, the powder. It smells like mate, but I don't know. I can't tell actually. Any hints of anything. I mean, I think I don't smell hints of anything because it is the estacionamiento natural, so it's not put through a machine or anything like that. But it's a very tea-like, like herbal smell from this one. This is probably why they recommend it. You don't get any hints or notes of anything. At least I don't smell them. But it's just a plain mate flavor, especially if you wanted to start. Maybe not this one, even though it says like it produces a more mild taste, at least, because it's what it says right here. Que otorga al mate su sabor suave característico. It basically means it gives the mate a milder flavor, so a softer flavor. But it is not really the case if you're talking to beginners. They won't really be able to experience mate as it is, with it being not as much bitter and having more mate flavor. That will usually taste worse if you are starting. You have to be a little more into it to really appreciate this one right here. But I do recommend the original Cruz de Malta. It's rare to find it in Brazil. This one, not so much somehow. I don't know why, but the original, like the traditional one, it is. So I don't know where you can get it, but if you can get it, that's a nice one. So let's form more mountain. Even though this is Argentinian Yerba, you kind of don't need it, but I like to do it because I am used to. Nice. It's in there. So let's adjust our mountain right up to the steel part. So it looks like this. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let's pour some water. See, it's kind of not really useful doing a mountain because it's gonna flood anyways. So before I try it, I'm gonna take a sip of water. Just so I really clean my mouth. It's very hot in here, so let's try it. Yep, as I expected, it tastes as most mates are, it tastes just like it smells. So if you want to see if you're gonna like a mate or not, I usually recommend people smelling it first, because it's a smell very similar to the taste you're going to get. So you can already see if you're going to like or not a specific mate just by smelling it. Let's see, second sip. Wow. I almost choked here. I got too excited. Yeah, it is very, very mild. I remember now why it's like almost half full. This is also very good for starters, but I would recommend your additional one because it's more bitter. Gets you more used to most brands. But this is a very good one for you to do mate cocido, so basically do it in a French press or something, or cold brew it. It's very, very, very good. But for traditional mate, I don't think I would recommend it, just because it is too mild. If you are not very good with bitter things, excuse me, this is probably for you. But I don't know, I've had other brands that I plan to bringing into this channel as well, like Union Suave, for example, which are also mild, but they do have a strong mate taste. This one is basically just mild. Let's try our second refill, because it usually starts developing after the second or third refill, and you can see basically where it's going. Yeah, the flavor got a little bit stronger now that I let it sit for a while with the wet leaves with directly hot water, and not like the basically lukewarm one we put at the beginning. Yeah, it is basically just mild, but it is good. It is a good mild, mostly because you do not get the taste of like smoke, for example, with brands that are aged artificially and not naturally, like this one. You usually get a more smoky flavor or a harsher flavor. Let's put it that way. But this ends up being very, very mild. So if you're into strong mate, I wouldn't recommend this one. Even though usually when you see Selección Especial or anything like that, it usually means it's a higher quality, stronger mate. This one is completely the opposite. Yeah. Yep. This mate right here is very mild. Let's go for a third refill. I am going to wet the entire mountain to see if I get any strong taste or hint of anything. Let's wait a couple of seconds. This is very good. You can see the quality of the mate by the amount of foam it basically creates on top. Usually chimarrão and Uruguayan mate will have a lot more because they are a finer cut and they have way more leaves than Argentinian one. So if you see foam coming out of your mate, especially Argentinian, it is a very, very good thing. Wetting the entire mountain, I still see no big difference. Again, it got a little bit stronger, but it's not anywhere bitter, and I don't really get a taste of anything after. Let's see, let's try try cleaning your mouth again. Let's see what is my final verdict. So, it's still very mild. I would recommend, if you have one of those right there, like those big gourds, I would recommend doing it in one of those and not a very small one, because you won't get a strong flavor. This might also be a very short mate. Now, some people prefer that. Some people prefer a mate that lasts very long. Some people prefer a mate that lasts half a liter, and that is okay. It's mostly just preference and what suits your needs. This one, it's probably not a very long-lasting mate given its flavor, because you usually need to extract and use a lot more of the leaves to get a stronger flavor, so a stronger kick of the caffeine and theobromine and stuff like that. So I wouldn't really recommend, if you like very long-lasting mates. You should probably try Uruguayan if that's your thing, although they are a little more difficult to prepare. But this mate here is a very good mate. It just does not suit my needs or my preferences. Yep, as I expected. This is probably the most plain mate you could get. Now, it's good because it can give you a sensation of what mate is, especially the traditional one, because this one is still very mild for just a very plain, very mate-like mate. But yeah, this is the end of the video. Tell me your opinion in the comments down below. What should I change? What can I change? How can I make the videos better? What brands do you want to see? What recommendations do you want to see? Do you guys want to see tereré, chimarrão, Uruguayan, Argentinian, Paraguayan? I could get a hold of them and showcase in this channel and give you my review. Also some experiments. So if you guys want me to compare mate side by side, drinking both at the same time, I don't know if you guys, we can figure stuff out usually. I'm not going too crazy as doing mate with beer or something. Maybe in the future, but not right at the start. I want to keep my channel a little bit more conservative for the time being. So yeah, tell me what you guys think down below in the comments, and that's it. Goodbye.